I was out on a walk one day. I was out on a walk one day when I was almost home. I heard something. A little meowing sound. I looked around and this cat, gray or black with a little bit of reddish tint to it, walked towards me. It was adorable and I reached down to pet it. The cat rubbed up against my legs, as cats sometimes do, and for a split second, I could have sworn it smiled at me. Not like a big human smile, but for just a second, I could have sworn it flashed its teeth, almost like it was trying to smile. I brushed it off and continued to make my way home. The cat followed me for a little bit, and I kneeled down to play with it some more. Then something rustled in a bush, and the cat ran after it. I continued walking home, and when I got home, surprisingly enough, the cat was there waiting for me. The cat stood up and it looked at me, and I was delighted with my newfound friend. I know you're not supposed to feed wild animals, but I felt so bad for him. The poor thing was probably starving. So I ran inside and I got a little paper plate and filled it with random food from my fridge, and I brought it outside and gave it to the cat. The cat knelt down and it ate it. And then it got up and smiled at me. It actually smiled. Not that little kitty grin from before, but an actual smile, baring its teeth and everything. I was, understandably, freaked out, and as the cat stared at me, its eyes turned a bright green, almost neon. I was beyond freaked out, so I went back inside. I went to bed, and I woke up along, probably around 3 in the morning. There was still moonlight out, but I don't know. But when I got up, I looked to my window, and standing outside of it was the cat, pawing at my window. I decided to ignore it and go back to sleep. The thing that I don't get, though, is I didn't realize this until I woke up the next day, but I always sleep with my blinds drawn and my curtains closed. So why was my window open to where I could see the cat? I woke up the next day to see that cat laying on the foot of my bed. I jumped. My window was open. I assumed it must have crawled in on its own. I took it back outside and spent the rest of the day trying to keep the cat from getting into my house, but any time our eyes would meet, it would smile at me again. I was understandably really freaked out at this point. I shut all my windows and locked all my doors. Thankfully for me, I didn't have work that day. And I went to bed the next night. And I was woken up to the sound of something scratching against my bedroom door. I brushed it off as being a mouse or my laundry downstairs. Something. As I rolled over and went to sleep, I woke up the next morning to the sun in my face. But when I sat up, I saw him again. That damn cat sleeping at the foot of my bed. Its mouth permanently widened in that smile, unclosing, unwavering. I know that saying this I'm going to get a ton of animal rights people down my throat, but I had had enough. I picked up the cat and I took it outside. And I threw it on the ground. It didn't hiss, it didn't meow, it didn't do anything. It just stood there staring at me and smiling. Then I got a shovel and I bashed the cat to the ground with the shovel over and over and over and over until I regained my composure and my mind cleared. I looked down at the cat, and it was hardly recognizable. Its front legs and one of its back legs were clearly broken. Its rib cage was almost non-existent. You couldn't tell if it was there, even if it was. And it had a huge dent in its head. Its fur was slowly becoming caked with blood. I was disgusted, and you know what I did? I took the cat and I put it in a box. I put that box in a box, and then I tied that box. Then I drove about an hour outside of town into the middle of nowhere, and I buried the cat in the forest. The next day, well, not the next day, that night, I was sleeping, and I woke up on my own and instantly looked towards the window. There the cat was, still smiling, but also still mangled. It was disgusting to look at. There's no way I can describe it. It was just unnatural, broken, mangled, dents in its face. Like, the thing shouldn't even be able to move, but as it smiled at me, it started dancing. Not like actually dancing, but it just started moving its body around in an odd way, with each movement making a loud, disgusting crack or pop. I almost puked at the sight of it. The cat shot me another smile, but its eyes weren't green anymore. I shut the window, well, shut the blinds, shut the curtains, and I moved out of that house soon after. I had been enjoying my new life nearly across the country. I had gotten a new job and a new house. Everything seemed fine. I thought my nightmare was over. But about a month in, I got up. I went to my bedroom, and that same cat, that same damn cat, was sitting there on my bed, smiling at me. I called animal control and had them take the cat away. They did. But as they did, the cat stared at me. It stared at me as if it were planning something. I didn't want to think about it. And I didn't see that cat again for a while, but when I did, it was bad. Next time I saw the cat looked completely healed. And I saw it because I had woken up to see it standing on my chest. It knelt down, and it smiled directly in my face. I grabbed my phone, and I jumped up, and I tried to dial 911, but as soon as I hit the final one, I felt an unbelievable pain in my shoulder. The cat was on top of me, clawing and biting into my shoulder and neck as much as it could, tearing me to shreds. I don't know how such tiny claws caused so much damage, but by the end, I was barely alive. And the cops, they did show up after hearing me struggle over the phone, and they shot the cat. They shot the cat, and they killed it, and they took its body away. And I'm writing this because I'm still scared. I'll be damned if I ever do anything with another wild animal, but I can hear something pawing at my window.